Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you had a good Christmas time and a good end of the year. Today we have an amazing interview with Melissa Spence, the founder of Stoner Witch Records and Stoner Witch Radio. I feel I can learn the most from people who do their projects guided by the heart. This is why this interview is so exciting. Melissa have golden tips for us, how to start a record label, the mindset, important tasks, and golden advices, how to distribute cassettes and vinyls, what to take care of, and more. So enjoy this episode, learn more about Melissa, her background, and the motivation why she started it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave a like, and if you have any questions or any comments, please leave them down in the description. I'm more than happy to answer to you. Hey everybody, today we are here with Melissa from Stoner Witch Records. Thank you very much for your time, Melissa.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm very excited because I checked the artists on your label and it's fantastic music and incredible concept. I think people can learn a lot from you today. So please let us know today, who are you and what are you doing?
So I'm Melissa. I'm a radio DJ at heart. So I'm a professional broadcaster that started out in radio about 13 years ago in Canada, actually. So I worked in radio industry, the music industry in Canada. I accomplished a lot of things. And then I moved to the US about 5 or 6 years ago. And I came here to start a different type of radio station because I wasn't really feeling fulfilled in my previous commercial corporate radio jobs. So I thought, I want to start something that is truly reflective of the music that I grew up listening to, the styles that I love. And I came up with Stoner Witch Radio, which is obviously named after the Melvins album, Stoner Witch. So I flew with that for about 4 years. And then almost 2 years ago, I decided I wanted to see what it would be like to start a record label because there was a lot of bands that I was having a hard time getting a hold of from different countries like South America. And I was also helping someone else with their record label. And I got a little bit of experience and I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I could totally do something like this. And because I had so many connections to the bands that I was playing on my radio show, and I had a bit of a reputation for, supporting the bands, promoting them, giving them a platform to share the music and sharing it with other people and exposing them to different listeners all over the world. It was kind of an easy transition to find bands who wanted to work with me and release music. So I started with cassettes and I'm still in cassettes. And I started on 4/20, 2019. I did 3 releases, one from a band here in Phoenix called Stone Witch. We did Coven of the Ultra Riff. And then we did the Sahara band who are from Argentina. So I did 3 releases right out the gate and it went very, very well. I was so surprised. So based on that reaction from just people being interested in the bands who I was releasing, I thought, okay, let's try more. And it's just kind of snowballed up until this point. So here I am. I got 20 artists on the label now. I'm still doing the radio show and it's been going very well.
Wow, this is fantastic. So inspiring. So,
Yeah.
Congratulations on this. 20 artists on the label.
Thank you. I really had no plan to give it a shot and it worked.
Wow, that's amazing. I think this is the best approach for doing something without a plan and see what happens.
And from the heart, right? Like it's truly from the heart.
Exactly. When the heart guides you, everything will be all right.
Exactly.
Wonderful. And since when are you doing this?
I have been doing this, the record label since April 2019. So, and I did release one record in collaboration with a label out of Chile called Golden Dawn Recordings. We collaborated on one actual vinyl record that I released by the Black Furs, and that did very well. I'm actually considering doing a repress, but I'm currently relocating. So I'm kind of in a position right now where I'm not releasing anything for the next couple of months besides what I currently have ongoing right now. I do have Steinsop out of Norway right now available, and I will be releasing the band Kabbalah, who are out of Spain, in January. So those are my 2 next releases. But after that, I'm kind of in a moving transition, but I'm hoping to do a record in 2021. That's my goal.
Fantastic. Please tell us, what do you offer to the bands as a record label? Do you do the typical stuff like the traditional record label? You sign a record deal, you make the CD distribution only, or you give advances, help them to record?
Well, I'm not very traditional. That's the thing. Like I'm still very new. So, and my relationship with the bands is kind of almost personal. It's not super professional. So, I actually don't involve any contracts right now. We kind of just we message and I either offer them, a certain amount of the physical copies of the album, or they can choose to do a financial cut of the profits. So it's really up to the band what they want. Some bands want, a bunch of cassettes so they can sell it at gigs. But lately, because there's no shows allowed right now, a lot of people have been taking just the financial profit because of the virus situation. And, artists really need money right now. So, and then, yeah, I like the fact that people that I've been working with are really artistic. All of the bands, they seem to already have in mind their concepts, what they want. And I really have no limits with them. I tell them, you know what, I'll do whatever you want to do. It's totally up to you. I'll make sure it happens and it's completely in your creative control. Like, so I don't push any limits on them. I really let them do whatever they want because if I was an artist, that's what I would want. So I just do my best to financially fund it, try and get it out on time, and make sure all of the customers are happy too with little extras like posters and stickers. Because as a collector myself, those are the things that I like. So I'm really just a fan, who's doing this almost like a hobby, but an
Wow.
expensive one.
Oh, I get you. I get you. This is wonderful. I love how it's changing. People like you, people like me, many people are doing their own thing out of the love to the music, um,
Yeah.
out of being a fan. And I think this is the new direction where many people go to. It's wonderful.
Yeah. I worked in the music industry and I've seen how some artists are treated by bigger labels and bigger companies and it's not what I would want as an artist. So coming from a background in an industry where I've seen, and not where it's just all business, there's no passion for the music, there's no real love for the music. So that's what I like to bring to the band. So I immediately make the connection with the band. I tell them, you know what? I'm really here because I love your album. I think a lot of people should hear your album and I want to do the best to help you get the album out the way that you want it to be heard and seen. So that's that's what I try to establish right off the hop with every artist. I don't sit there and tell them, well, we're going to try and sell, 100 right off the hop and then maybe we'll do another 100. Like it's not about the figures, it's more about the concept of what the band was already trying to relay through the music. So it's all about the music first and then we talk about the business part.
So
Mhm.
tell me, what are the things that you have to take care of on a daily basis?
I have to maintain the store itself, and I'm noticing this is something I wasn't prepared for when I when I got into this was being really in contact a lot with the customers, like the customer service aspect of running a record label is extremely important because they're the ones who are spending the money, they're the ones who are trying to build their personal music collections, so you have to keep them in mind at all times too. So I do my best to respond to everybody as quickly as possible. You got to be on your social media, and I always pay attention to everybody on social media as well. I don't just leave people in the comments. I always make sure I like the comment. I always make sure I comment back and reply
Mhm.
because people like to be seen, like you want to know that there's another person on this page that's listening and reading to what you're commenting. So being really approachable and I guess communicative is extremely important when it comes to the people who are buying the music. That's something that I've learned when I started this. I didn't have any idea that it would be like this.
Oh, I totally get you. This is something that we as fans like as well when our favorite band writes back to the comment, or it's somehow making the
Yeah,
connection also with the fans. I think this is very important. Actually, I got
very important.
yeah, you it's a must do, and I love it also to do it. Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. I think we have a video with 500 comments and some nice discussions coming out of this as well. So, Melissa, tell us, what is the best advice that you received during those times?
The best advice, I was actually just part of an online virtual conference with a bunch of professionals in the industry because I was, again, looking for advice because I want to take my label to the next level, to be more professional, to be a bigger label, but still be able to have that connection with smaller artists. So I was asking for advice from a lot of people who've been in the industry for years and years, and they just told me to be realistic about expectations when I'm dealing with a band and not to leave them in the dark about anything, is to pretty much keep the communication um, on 100%. You know, be transparent, make sure I'm truthful about how long a release is going to take in production. So if I send the album to a pressing plant or the manufacturer for cassettes, if it's going to be 6 weeks, then I should tell them it's going to be 6 weeks. If there's a delay, I make sure I tell the band that there's going to be a delay so that they can plan around that delay. So just to be really communicative and make sure everybody is on the same page and everybody knows what's happening for timelines, for art deadlines, anything, just to be really on top of that sort of thing. So that would be the advice that I would give, and that's what I've been given as well.
Wow, wonderful. I think that's a good advice. When everybody's informed, then everything will go smooth.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
nice advice. I like it. And did you receive already a bad advice or the worst advice that you received during those times? Is there anything you can share with us?
I haven't really received any bad advice, but I have witnessed other labels doing things that I thought were not probably the best way to go about business. I know that you have to be really careful when you're taking pre-orders for items. For example, I've seen labels take too many pre-orders and then only have like 100. Say you take like 100 pre-orders, but you accidentally take like 125, then you got to tell 25 people that they're not going to get their order, you know? So you got to be really careful with numbers and not oversell if you don't have enough product to actually give the customer. So again, that's like a customer relation, keeping on top of your numbers and really just having a business head is what I'm really trying to master, because like I said, I'm really just a fan. I'm a professional in a different type of industry, so this record industry is a little bit new to me, so I'm trying to learn the best way to go about things. So I'm noticing just staying on top of numbers, being really transparent with customers, so being careful with numbers.
Amazing, amazing. So now I'm curious because I'm also looking for new ways to learn more, reading books about the industry and the record industry. Do you have any advices for some education where people can learn more about this topic?
Yeah, whenever I'm trying to learn about anything, I try to find experts that I'm trying to learn about. So I recently, like I mentioned, I joined the virtual vinyl conference, and it's from a company called Making Vinyl. So if you go to makingvinyl.com, you will be introduced to a whole world of people from all different labels all over the world, pressing plants from all over the world, just experts who've been doing this for a long time and have seen the trends of, technology going back and forth from the analog to digital, and how things have been changing over the years and how they've adapted their practices and how it's just changed. So I would really strongly suggest following the Making Vinyl people. I also look to bigger labels when I'm trying to learn things. So, for example, I tend to admire the Riding Easy Records label because they're kind of like in the same style as me, but they're just much bigger. And they're also sort of like a lifestyle brand. And that's kind of the direction that I'm going into. So I look to bigger labels and I kind of study them to see how they're going about their business. I look on their websites, I look on their social media. I'll even place an order with them to see how the order arrives and to see their packaging and stuff like that. So I really take time to research other labels, and I just take note of it. I really pay attention to all the small details, and then I strive to kind of be that way as well. I try and think, well, how can I use their techniques to kind of please my customers and the bands that I'm working with. So That's what I do, is always look for people who are doing the same thing that you want to do, but this on a bigger level. So that would be my advice, is to study others in the industry.
Wow, I like that. Amazing.
Hmm.
Wow. And can I ask you, with which entities from the music industry are you interacting, like on a daily basis? Are you working with guys who are designing the merch or distribution platforms, maybe other labels, or
Well, I work with the bands when we're doing the actual initial setup of the release. So, but once everything is set up, I don't really interact with them until after the release has been done. So, it's really just me on my own. And then when I do a distribution deal, say for South Cave Records right now in Indonesia. I currently have a whole bunch of their tapes for the Falanu band that I'm selling on my website for them, because obviously there's US customers who want to save on the shipping. So if I sell them from here instead of Indonesia, they're going to be more likely to purchase the tapes from America than in Indonesia. So I do collaborate with some labels in different countries so that customers in the US can save on shipping rates. I've also done that with Interstellar Records out of Poland. And I've done it with Hand of Doom Records out of Germany as well. But there's a lot of complexities to that as well, because you have to worry about maybe there's going to be potential damages with those items coming to the US, and then I don't want to be stuck with a bunch of records or tapes that have, warps in them or cracked cases, like there's just so much involved when it comes to international shipping and stuff like that, and doing distribution for other labels. So again, I'm really careful with who I work with, because I want to make sure that I am getting products that are relevant to people who pay attention to Stoner Witch Records. I'm not going to work with a label that doesn't really have anything in common with me. So labels I do interact with are South Cave Records, Interstellar Smoke Records, Hand of Doom. And there's another label here in the US that I'm kind of friends with on Facebook, that's Forbidden Place Records. And yeah, so there's lots of smaller labels that I interact with. But I would eventually like to do, like I'm saying, I'm trying to upscale my business a little bit more. So maybe next year I can get involved with an even bigger label as well.
amazing, amazing quality first, and the good connection. It's very important.
Yeah.
Wow. So I would like to ask you, what are your next steps? What are the next steps that you're planning with your label for 2021?
Well, like I said, 2021, I'm moving to Las Vegas. So I'm moving to another state. So I'm packing everything up. And then once I get there, I will begin to investigate on which band I would like to release on vinyl, because the vinyl process takes a lot longer. And because I'm just starting out, I really want to make sure I do it right, because making cassettes is pretty easy. Like, I highly recommend anybody just try it. I mean, it's so easy to make. It's really just a little bit of paperwork. You send it to a manufacturer. The turnaround time is a lot quicker than vinyl. It's only like a few weeks to get it. But with vinyl, especially right now during the COVID, it's taking months and months for vinyl to be produced. So I'm a little bit worried about that, but I would like to release at least one record in 2021 for Stoner Witch Records, which would then establish me as an actual vinyl the proper steps, because there's so much involved, like once, and it's thousands of dollars. Like, it's a really big investment. You don't want to mess anything up, and I want to make sure the band is happy, the customers are happy, everything just has to be top notch. So that's my goal for 2021, is to press a record. Hopefully the virus goes away and those records can show up at concerts again, and it'll just be back to enjoying music in a live venue again.
Oh yeah, we are all looking forward for this.
Mm,
I think it will work out. So
yeah.
wow, nice plans, nice plans. Good luck with that. Um, I please tell our listeners, where can people follow you, buy the CDs, buy the cassettes, buy the vinyls, and also where can people listen to your radio show?
Right. So I'm on Instagram and Facebook, And that's primarily where I let people know about the releases coming up. So you can follow me on Instagram at Stoner Witch Records. You can follow me on Twitter as well at Stoner Witch Rex. And then on Facebook, it is simply Stoner Witch Records. And as far as the radio show goes, I'm pretty underground. However, it's still been pretty successful despite it not being, a commercial show. You can find me on Mixcloud, which is free streaming under Stoner Witch Radio. And the same goes for SoundCloud. So you can play it at any time. You don't have to tune in at a special time. You can just play it whenever you want off of your cell phone if you would like. So if you pretty much just search Stoner Witch Radio on either Mixcloud or SoundCloud, you'll see my account come up and you'll see every episode. I think I'm doing my best of 2020 coming up. So that'll be out next week. So I'll do a review of the whole year of all the best albums, according to me. So we'll see how that goes.
For everybody, we'll put all the links down in the description, so you can make sure to follow her on Instagram, leave a like on Facebook, check out the shop, check out the radio show. Of course, you have a lot of followers there because the radio show is just awesome. I discovered so many great bands there. And
thank you. That's the whole point, and I'm really glad that you said that, because now I'm noticing people who are discovering the record label are saying, oh my goodness, I never heard of this band. I'm so glad I bought it. So that's what I want. I just want people to hear music that maybe they would have never heard of before, because these bands are so good. They're just not getting the exposure that they deserve. So I'm glad that people are hearing them for the first time and enjoying it. That's what I want to accomplish.
Wow, mission accomplished, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the last question for today, what are your top 3 bands for this year that you discovered?
For this year? As far as new or just brand new?
Let's say brand new, because I know it's a tricky question.
Oh my goodness, that's so hard. I have to actually open my Bandcamp because I don't know. Do you spend a lot of time on Bandcamp?
On Band, of course, every day. I'm checking for new releases, I'm checking for new bands, and yeah, Bandcamp is amazing.
All right, so I'll just pull up a couple here. So there's this really cool band out of the UK called Modern Witchcraft, and they are on the DHU Records label, which is another friend that I consider myself a friend of. He's in the Netherlands. So Modern Witchcraft is really cool. Wicca is from Argentina. They're a really cool band that I just discovered this year. They're also going to be releasing brand new music on DHU Records. So that would have to be 2. And then for my third, it's really hard to say. There's been a lot of really good albums, but as far as new music, I would have to say Rosie Finch. That's a really good album. Scarlet. I love it. I love that it mixes up kind of like a grunge style with this doom, and they're out of Spain. So those would have to be my 3 for this year. They're definitely going to be in my top 2020, coming out next week on Stoner Witch Radio. So those are my top 3.
Wow, thank you for sharing. I will check them out after the interview.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate you inviting me. This is really cool to connect. I've actually been a part of a couple of podcasts, and I'm really glad to connect with people all over the world. I think that's the beautiful thing about the technology that we're in right now. And I think COVID was kind of a blessing, because I feel more connected than ever to people around the world now, because we're able to, like you said, Zoom and talk like this. So thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you that you accepted. I see exactly the same. More and more people like to connect wherever we are. I'm now in Morocco, you're in Arizona, and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, thank you so much.
We should do an update later on. We should do another episode sometime.
Yeah, you're always welcome. You're always welcome. I learned a lot from this podcast. This is why I love to do them as well, to meet new people. Also, I'm a fan from your radio show, so cool. Amazing to talk with you, to connect together.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, I wish you all the best for the end of the year. I can't wait for your top 20 list of 2020, and wish you also all the best for 2021. We stay in touch, and yeah, wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and enjoy the rest of the rest of the year, and make sure you stay safe as well.
Oh yeah, stay safe, stay happy, and thank you so much.
All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.